There's a whole reference library of these recordings on YouTube, Facebook. I think there's over 1,000 of these. If you ever want to, catch up on the things I talk about, they're all there. Does anyone have a question for us? No questions. Does anyone have a question? I have a question. Why doesn't anyone have a question? Yes, Josh.
Um, how do the Tantians, how do the Tantians affect the chakras? How does that relationship work together?
It's the absolute core. Where you're there. It's the core. It's the foundation. It's the root that makes every other chakra uh, capable of opening. Look, the Tatian, the Hara, the third chakra, whatever one wants to call it, it's, we need foundation inside us. Most people live without any grounding. They spend 95% of their time in their heads, thinking, analyzing, daydreaming, and it creates so much tension and it creates so much anxiety and problems in people. And the reason they do that is there's no grounding. They haven't learned to keep their mind focused in the Tatian, in the third chakra, because we need to be rooted. That is where the root is, the power, the real power inside a human being is in that chakra. I mean, a tree can't grow without roots. Flower can't grow without roots. Human beings don't think about roots. They just kind of live in their heads and they allow that energy to bounce around in their heads like a cage full of canaries. And the rational mind, yes, it's necessary to work out situations in the world. But, other than that, it's not going to figure out anything about a spiritual life. Although scientists try to do it, to take, the mystical, the profound, the truth element of spirituality and try to analyze it. But the Tatian is the real power. It's the force. It's the thing that allows the heart chakra to stay open. It's the thing that allows the mind to be quiet. It's the thing that allows energy to move through the sexual area and undergo a major transformation from the human to the divine to activate Kundalini. Without that rootedness, all of the things I mentioned would drive us crazy. We need to be grounded. We need foundation. That is the Tatian. It's the power in a human being. It's like all the other chakras, or maybe your flowers on stems. The Tatian is the roots. You know, it's that which keeps it all together, allows the plant to grow, the tree to grow, the human being to grow, wisdom to come, knowledge to come, love to come, the heart open. understand the capacity to communicate through the throat chakra. If we're not grounded and we don't have that Tatian working for us, most conversation is like static on a radio. People talk at each other, they don't talk to each other, they never listen, they know better. We need to be grounded. Kind of softens us up. That power softens us up. The power of love, the power of compassion. Well, how do you have that kind of strength if you're not grounded inside? That's the Tatiana. First thing that Rudy ever taught me, first thing, sat down with him. He was going to show me the meditation. First thing he said, bring your attention to the chakra below the neck. The first thing. It's the most basic element, not only of a spiritual life, but life itself. People have high IQs and they have, and they think they have some kind of wisdom and knowledge. They don't. It's very shallow compared to the wisdom and knowledge that emanates from the fountainhead of energy in the universe, from what's infinite in the universe. And in order to receive that energy, it's such strong energy. In order to receive it and to allow it to develop a chakra system and build it, we need to be grounded. We need to have the strength inside us that can receive it. We need to have the strength inside us that can deal with karma, which we all know life itself is a very powerful energy. It drives people crazy. We need to be grounded in order to work out karma. We need to be grounded in order to truly love unconditionally. I mean, these are all great terms, but they're completely useless if a human being hasn't built that foundation inside himself or herself. That's the Tatiana. The Chinese have been talking about it for thousands of years. The Japanese, you know, but it should be very apparent, even in life. You see people like dancers, for instance, the really great dancers don't think about what they do, they just do it. And if you look at them, they're not thinking, their minds are clear, they're focused at the core of their being, which enables them to have that capacity to dance, to do the martial arts, to play music, even to write books. Those boring books or intellectual books. When they come from that inner experience, books get very rich, very remarkable. Does anyone else have a question they would like? I know, just to finish this up, a lot of, yeah, yes, Josh. Well,
Do you find that the mind over time just comes to stay there in the Tatian, like learn to
yes,
live there?
I would say you could get 80, 90% of your attention there. There's always going to be some irritation in the brain making you a little bit, we need it because that part of us, that irritation, is the thing that makes us work on ourselves. But in order to deal with it, if 70, 80% of your attention is in the chakra below the navel, you have the power to deal with it. And how to use it, instead of letting it use you, you can use it. That irritation, that the thinking that still goes on you can use it to develop your spiritual life. It will no longer use you by draining all your energy out of you. So we become masters of chaos, internal chaos. And I mean, Rudy always said it, it's like the Pavlovian dogs, you know that story? Ring the bell well, we have to keep practicing and practicing so that we condition ourselves to live that way. And that begins to eliminate fear, insecurity, worries about the future, guilt about the past. It all gets, you know, burnt up inside. It all gets consumed by the Shakti that flows through a human being. And that Shakti is not going to flow unless we're grounded. And if you have tension in the head, a little bit of mental activity, as I said the other day, don't worry about it. None of us are perfect. And we almost need that bit of activity going on in order to remind ourselves we haven't arrived yet. We still have to work on ourselves. God is perfect. The rest of us are evolving towards that perfection. And in evolving towards that perfection, we grow spiritually. So we need the irritation. I hate to tell you that because a lot of people believe at some point there's an all perfect world, and it's just naive. At every point, there's the opportunity to use the things that are wrong with us to grow. Instead of allowing them to take over and destroy us, depress us, and make us unhappy and miserable. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask? And just to finish this, look, the world in its own right has perfection. Everything has a purpose. Every living creature has a purpose. Every living aspect of energy and Shakti and whatever goes on in this world, from the lowest levels of poverty to the greatest whatever, everything has a purpose. And if you begin to see the world that way, it is no longer an enemy. It's teaching you what you need to do to grow. So you no longer complain about it. We say, okay, I have to listen to life. Life is the most remarkable guru, much more than me. My job is to train everybody to build a chakra system so that they can sit in front of life and learn from life, every dimension of life, what they need to do in their daily life to grow. That's my job. My job is not being a guru. I can't compete with life. I can help it out by, you know, teaching how to develop a chakra system that enables every person to be able to sit in front of the real guru, which is life itself. And life doesn't wear orange robes. It has so many different colors and innuendos, energy things like nonstop. It is every level it teaches. It's the greatest university in the world. Does anyone else have a question? And don't be stymied by this or become afraid of it. Just be grateful. My God, look at this sacred world that we live in. Be grateful. And in that gratitude, you will truly learn how to embrace everything. Well, not everything, but almost everything that life has to teach. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And I always say it, I'll say it again. You know, it's a miracle to be sitting here teaching people from all over the country, from Brazil, from, Mexico, from all over the place, And it's a miracle that you all are here and your need for a spiritual life. All it does is feed my need for spiritual life. And it enables this kind of marriage between teachers and students to really work, to help both grow spiritually, because that's the purpose of all of this. Not just coming here to stare at each other and feel a little bit better at the end of the class. It's to truly grow spiritually. So we'll have a meditation on Sunday, and God bless you all. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Good night.